Alright, back for another beer review, and today I'll be reviewing yet another collaboration beer. This time between the Forest and Main Brewing Company, and they are out of Ambler, Pennsylvania, and Human Robot, and they're out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and this is their Fäks Lager. So this is a double-decocted pale lager hopped with Styrian Fox. It comes in at 5% alcohol by volume, no IBUs listed in time of review, and this can is just over 3.5 months old, and I picked this one up at Halftime Beverage via halftimebeverage.com. So in the description box, I'll post a link to the beer mail unboxing video I did that contains all the goodies that I grabbed, and I grabbed 20 beers in total, 2 of which were from Forest and Main, and this is the second and final of the 2 that I'm reviewing. The first one was their British style porter, which was an absolutely fantastic English porter, so I have high hopes for this one. And another reason why I'm really excited about this one is the collaboration with Human Robot. I've only had a handful of beers from Human Robot, and I've reviewed the vast majority on the channel, and I think they are a fantastic brewery and one of my favorite lager-focused breweries in general, I should say. And when you combine Forest and Main with Human Robot, I'm expecting greatness out of this one. I really am. So we're going to crack this one open, get it into the mug here. I use the mug mostly for Oktoberfest reviews, but this is a perfect beer to use this mug for. So anyway, we're going to give it a pour into the mug and see what we can, if we can get, oh, wow. Okay. All right. So there was a little bit of a explosion, and by explosion, I mean just a little bit of a gush here when I cracked it open. I thought I'd get cute and try to, pour a very, be very aggressive with the pour. And yeah, this is going to be an issue. Might have a little bit of lively carbonation in here. So it's spilling everywhere. And yeah, so what we're going to do is just probably put this to the side for now. Hope that this is fine. Of course, I ordered it online. Halftime Beverage is in New York State. They're more closer to New York City. So I didn't think there would be any issues with, them shipping it and whatnot. Who knows? Maybe I just got a bad can. Maybe there's nothing wrong with the can. It just has more lively carbonation. But anyway, let's turn this around. What does this look like? Well, in this mug, it looks awesome. It has a beautiful sunshiny, like yellow-orange color. Probably look a little bit more just straight on orange and a little bit duller on camera. Hold it up to the light. Yeah, it has some decent clarity to it, but also has some chill haze and also some generic haze. It looks like they're fine particulates, so it's definitely an unfiltered lager for sure. Has about a 4 to 5 finger of this luscious, beautiful off-white colored head, like a bone white colored head. Bigger bubbles mixed in with smaller bubbles. It doesn't look like it's really going anywhere as we speak, so I'm going to try to get a nose through this and see if I can succeed. I can. Wow, so I spilled it all over the bottom too, probably ran down the sides. I didn't even realize it, but if you've been on my channel before or you're a viewer / subscriber, you know that I can't pour beer properly, although this one's not really my fault, to be honest with you. It just has much more lively carbonation. So anyway, that was, yeah, so beautiful. It has kind of like a toasted sourdough bread vibe from the malt, maybe a little bit of a crackery thing going on. Or maybe even like a toasted rye bread. I'm getting a very pronounced spiciness from the hops. Like a spicy herbaceousness with like a little bit of floral. Some orchard fruit. A nice like lemon kind of zestiness. It smells like it's potentially going to be sweet. Now it's just turning kind of like a mushroom cap, the head. You can't really see it that great, but yeah, it's starting to dissipate for sure. Yeah, it just smells lovely. Here's the thing. Lively carbonation. Doesn't seem like there's anything off as far as the aromatics go. No off aromas detected or anything. It just smells, yeah, sweet toasted kind of rye / sourdough bread. Zesty lemon. Maybe a touch of like a red apple or a pear. More to the skin side of things. And then this spicy herbaceousness with a touch of floral kind of hop character. Yeah, it smells really good. Let's get into it. Cheers, everyone. Oh, that's big on flavor. 5%. Wow. Ooh. Wow. That is incredibly dry. And it has a nice pop of bitterness. That's really nice. First things first. The body on this one, it's like medium body, maybe a touch over. It's double decocted. I'm thinking like, you know, it should be a bigger body. It's not too big. I think it's kind of appropriate for what the style dictates, but I thought it might have a little bit more heft to it. The mouthfeel, however, has a nice crispness. It's effervescent, has a nice moderate carbonation, but it is very smooth on the palate, a little bit soft as well, and there's a creaminess, so I really like that. Flavors from the nose really do carry over. Up front, toasted sourdough / rye bread. It has this nice complexity to the malt character and specifically the bready note. Maybe, you know, somebody might say a little bit of a crackery note or just a generic bread. I couldn't argue that. Right after that, though, a big zesty lemon, rindy lemon. It's definitely lemon-esque, but it's zesty and rindy as opposed to like a sweetness or a juiciness. Although, you know, lemons really aren't that sweet or anything. They're more tart and obviously sour, but they can be juicy. Right after that, it's more of a pear skin for me. I'm getting like a pear skin or like the closer to the core. So like not like a super sweet pear, just kind of like the flavor of a pear without the accompanied sweetness. And that finishes with a 1-2 punch of a spiciness that's somewhat herbaceous and a little bit of like a floral grassiness. It has, it like runs the gamut of all 4 of those. On the finish, it is very dry. This is bone dry, has a mild to moderate bitterness, more approaching moderate. I would say this is a little bit more bitter than I'm accustomed to for the style as a whole. So if you're talking about European pale lager, or even if you say this is a Czech pale lager, this has a little bit more bitterness. Almost reminds me of like a German Pilsner when they have a nice hop bitterness to them. However, it really helps out because the first like 2/3, 3/4 of the palate has that, like, again, that sweet bready kind of toasted note. You get that pear at the middle of the palate. This isn't too sweet or anything, but I do think the dryness and the bitterness really helps balance it out. Might even lean a little bit drier and more bitter than most people would consider, especially for the style. So I'm going to try to pour some more in here. We'll see what happens here. It doesn't seem like the carbonation is crazy, but as I say that, I poured it relatively gentle, and as you can see, we have another like 3-finger head. But again, in this glass, I think it looks absolutely fantastic. It really does. One more sip. Maybe 2 more, because I can't get through this head. That's really nice. Am I surprised? I'm not. It is Forest and Main. It's Human Robot. It's a double decocted pale lager. I haven't had a lot of beers with specifically Styrian Fox or them like boasting Styrian Fox, but I imagine it's a hop made for a style like this. 5%, you can't tell. It drinks really easily. I would say for me, this would be a nice 1 or 2 can kind of pale lager. I don't think I could session this because of the dryness and bitterness. I think after a couple cans, I'd want to move on to something else. But if you're just going to sit down and be like, hey man, give me a pale lager, and someone pours me a nice mug of this, I will crush the crap out of it. But I think the drinkability is impeded a little bit because of that dryness and bitterness. For me personally, for you, might not be, but for me, I think I want a little bit more like strictly 50-50 balance. As is though, really nice beer, really tasty. It's Forest and Main, it's Human Robot. It's to be expected. So I am going to give this one a rating as we speak. Oh yeah, really clean too on the palate. Like, there is really no like lingering anything, like nothing really. Just it like peters out. It hits that dryness, like that full dryness, with a little bit of like that bitterness, and then that's it. So it's a very clean beer. It's a very crisp beer. It's a super refreshing beer. It's kind of what you expect. So Fäks Lager from Forest and Main and Human Robot, I'm going to give this a straight 4.25 out of 5. I think that's where this one lands for me, right in that wheelhouse of a really nice pale lager. And I would say that if you have access to Forest and Main and or Human Robot stuff, check this one out. I think this is the 2nd or 3rd time they've brewed it. I looked at my Untapped Friends list and I saw people drinking this one back in 2022, so it's certainly not a new beer or anything, but it's one that I would highly recommend. So 4.25 out of 5 for this beer. Price point availability. I bought this on Halftime Beverage, as I said. I paid $5.99 a can. There's no way that was the price point at the brewery. I would assume, and someone could correct me if I'm wrong, if you bought this beer or you have access to it, I would assume this is probably in that $14 to $18 realm. I would say probably the $16 realm. Human Robot, a lot of their beers are like $17 a 4-pack. Some of them are $18, some of them are $14. But if this was $16 a 4-pack or under, I would totally buy it. If you start getting that $17, $18 range, maybe just a can or maybe just a 4-pack once in a while. But yeah, it's definitely not $5.99 a can. Halftime beverage a little bit more expensive. So I'm happy I tried it once, but I would not rebuy this at $5.99 a can. But I wanted to try some Forest Maine stuff, and we don't get a lot of Forest and Maine stuff here in Buffalo, New York. And by I mean a lot, I mean we get zero. So I had to grab it. And then availability, I have no idea. Forest and Maine, Human Robot. This was brewed by Forest and Maine, so probably their brewery, probably in and around PA. Obviously, I bought this at Halftime Beverage. They do get drops of their stuff. Again, I've never seen them here in Buffalo, New York. So outside of my limited information about where I know they distro to, again, if anybody out there can help me with the distro or the price point or anything, please post in the comment section. Also, if you've had this beer before, comment section as well. I'd love to hear what you think about this one. If not, what is your favorite pale lager, European pale lager, Czech pale lager, double decocted pale lager? I can't really say for sure. I've reviewed quite a few on the channel now, but this is up there. This is really nice. Again, I think it's a little bit too dry and bitter for me to absolutely lose my shit over, but I think as far as like just a strict 1-pint beer, this is really well done. I just don't think I could session a shit ton of these, but it has nice, really nice flavors, and body, mouthfeel, everything is pretty superb. So I'm going to shut this one down. That was Forest and Maine and Human Robots collaboration, Fäks Lager. Yeah, really good one. So appreciate everybody stopping by for another beer review here on the Beer Patrol. To the next one. Prost. Cheers. Whatever.